Hi everybody, Dr. Bill Crawford here, psychologist, speaker, author of 4 books, host of 2 PBS specials. Here today to talk about the subject of failure, or specifically our fear of failure, because I think it can get in the way of us learning the skills, the abilities we need to learn to be successful. This comes from the book by Seth Godin called The Icarus Deception. I've mentioned this several times in many of my videos, and I highly recommend that book. He talks about it in a very interesting way. I've kind of taken his thoughts and reworded them a little bit, but what he says basically is one key in success and learning is the ability to move into a new situation and feel momentarily incompetent. I notice when I say that word, incompetent, there's a little kind of a rumble, a little negative thing that goes through me, because I think that's one of the things that frighten us today is the fear of being incompetent or being seen as incompetent. And as a result, I think we don't try things, or if we try them and all of a sudden are just not very good at them right at the beginning, we back away from them and don't keep trying. Now, what's fascinating is we were not born this way. One of the stories I tell in one of my earlier books is about a little kid learning to walk. You know, this little kid has never walked before, has no competence in this area, and when he tries to, he falls down. But rather than just kind of lay there and go, I'm so embarrassed, I'm a failure, people are watching, I'll never walk again, I'll just worm around on the floor for the rest of my life, the little kid gets up and tries again, and falls down again, or fails again. But when we are that young, we have not learned to look at our failures as information about who we are. It's just good information. Okay, when I stand up and I lean this far, I fall over. Good information, I want to do that again. Because our purpose is so clear, and again, we haven't looked at the concept of learning and failing as we're learning as some sort of something we need to be frightened about or avoid. It is just a learning process. In other words, we are just fine with feeling momentarily incompetent. There's 2 words that are important. Number 1, momentarily. This is not about spending the rest of our life feeling incompetent. It's about the recognition that learning something new, there is a learning curve. And it's called a learning curve because for a while we're going to be making some mistakes. We're going to be incompetent for a little while. But that willingness to keep doing it and keep practicing is what it's all about. I think it's really what separates the successful people from the unsuccessful people, that persistence. And that persistence is there because we're willing to see the process as a series of steps that we are getting better at. And that each failure, anytime we're not as successful as we want to be, that becomes good information on how we want to do it differently in the future. So if there's some aspects of your life that maybe you've backed away from because the initial experience wasn't positive, wasn't successful, I'm going to encourage you to reassess that and ask yourself the question, is this something I would like to become good at? If I were teaching someone I love how to become good at this, would I encourage them to keep practicing, to keep trying, to not see their failures as information about them, but as information about a process where momentary incompetence is necessary to reach the goal of competence and success. I hope you found this valuable. For those of you who would like me to come and speak at your organization on learning and growing and practicing and moving through those obstacles, I would love to do that. All you've got to do is go to my website, billcrawfordphd.com, hit the contact button, let me know what you're interested in, and I would love to come and present to you. For those of you who would like to work with me as a psychologist or a life coach and use some of the philosophies that you see on these videos in your life, I love to do that as well. If you're in Houston, feel free to just call me up and we can make an appointment. If not, many people come to Houston and work with me and then work with me over the phone or Skype. I also come to your part of the world if you're interested in that and kind of help you bring those qualities to your particular situation, kind of an immersion experience of coaching. If any of that is something you would be interested in, again, feel free to go to my website, billcrawfordphd.com, hit the contact button, and I would love to talk with you about that. In the meantime, here is to you, bringing more clarity, confidence, and creativity to everything you do. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.